We have a new Jamaican guest.
Yes.
And I saw her walking by. She's just so pretty with her. I was like, I remember her.
She's regal.
Yes. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me again. I'm Dr. Tracy Johnson-Rockmore, and I am an adult with dyslexia, but I also have a nonprofit called Lessons in Hope, helping individuals with dyslexia in underprivileged communities. Also, I'm adjunct professor and a author of two books, helping individuals with dyslexia as well, which is that all social emotional piece and not knowing what's going on in life and trying to figure this dyslexic, non-dyslexic world, really dyslexic world.
So, can you talk to us a little bit about Vessels?
Sure, Vessels of Hope is a nonprofit that I started, and it launched out of really my own journey, but having people coming to me saying what they were struggling with in life. And I always thought that we needed some type of organization to help really have a safe place for people to talk about their dyslexia journey. And having a safe place to come is so important because a lot of times people feel like, I felt like I was alone. And we often have that shame and disappointment in ourselves and not wanting to disappoint others. I wanted a safe place for people to come. Most of all, finding out information about dyslexia, letting them know you're not dumb, you're not slow, you're not stupid, you're not broken. This is just the way our brain is wired.
I noticed, I know that we talked about this last time, and you probably talked about it just briefly, how you are dyslexic. So, did that shape the way you wrote your book? Or was that really where you got your motivation from?
So
That's kind of what you touched
the
on.
first book is really helping individuals that are mainly dyslexic adults, because after we're out of school, we're still dyslexic.
Right.
So we're not fixed. You're just out of school.
Right.
So it's really navigating this non-dyslexic world and just everyday things, how to order at restaurants, how to play board games with your family, something that, non-dyslexic people not able to think about, but it's quick reading. So those things can cause a lot of shame and disappointment. Also just filling out forms, buying homes, cars, all of that information takes literacy. And those are some literacy skills that adults with dyslexia, we are lacking. So this is a book to really just navigate and help them go through their situation.
So, if you're talking to a student who is going through some difficulties with their reading, and you are trying to express to them the importance of literacy, do you how do you bridge that gap? How do you help them realize how important it is knowing the adult side of it? How do you help a younger child?
Just really emphasizing the importance to them that literacy is your right. It's our right. It's a right for you to learn how to read and learn how to read properly. And if you don't gain that basic skill, it's going to be so much harder for you to navigate this life.
Right. Good.
So in encouraging them, really like you can do this. No matter what other people tell you, it's too hard, you're lazy, you're so all those narratives, negative narratives that we've heard in that space. You're bright. God gifted you with a wonderful brain that works. It just works differently.
I love that.
So, you're presenting a session today for a few minutes, right? So, what is your session?
My session is the social emotional aspects of living with dyslexia and really honing in on how dyslexia can affect a person emotionally. I believe it's really holistic. It affects everything that you do. So therefore, it affects if a person doesn't have if a parent or family doesn't have access whether to transportation, it's going to affect them. They're dyslexic. How am I going to get to my child with tutoring? That equal opportunity as far as even with socioeconomic.
Right.
They don't have the funding. How are they going to get the resources? So therefore, it's going to affect them in that way. proper food. We had places that had food deserts. If they're not getting the proper nutrition, we know how that affects the work.
Right.
So that is all the social emotional piece of dealing with dyslexia, not just giving them tutoring, but how are they going to access that tutoring? How are they going to access those resources once we identify what's going on?
And I think it's so important to talk about because so often we just take it at face value. What's happening in the schoolroom, what's happening in the classroom right now is how we react. And we have to go beyond that and think what's happening at home. Are they getting enough sleep? Are they adequately clothed? Are they getting meal system?
Exactly.
Those are all things that need to be considered.
Exactly. And I talk about in my speech about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If we're not getting those basic needs met, how are we going to focus on them getting people?
Right. I had a student one time who um, was severely dyslexic, and he could come to my class and do the interventions with me every day. But he had bigger problems to worry about at home. He was worried about getting hurt by his sister. He was worried about having food. This was what reading was the last thing on his mind. So there was only so much that the remediation could do.
Absolutely. And if we don't know all those other layers or under layers,
Mm-hmm.
how can we meet their needs in dealing with their dyslexia? And really, like you say, getting them the tutoring that they need. Whereas right now, they're just worrying about basics about it.
Right, right, and it's. I feel like that's a pretty big undertaking. So I really appreciate that you're trying to get the word out there about that. And I wonder, like, are there different community centers that offer support for people that are going through something similar to like my student, or what do you recommend?
It's hard. It's going to take a village. It depends on what state you're living in. It depends on what resources within that city or state that's offered. And sometimes they're minimal. Some teachers and some tutors are bringing a lunch for their student, because they know the student hadn't eaten all day.
Right.
So it's going to take a whole community really knowing what's underlining, not just them able to learn as far as with their dyslexia, but what else is going on? What's going on at home? It's going to take, the community working together, the mother, the father, everyone finding out what those layers are and really able to support that child.
And almost like social workers coming in and
Absolutely.
providing additional support
Absolutely.
to the family to teach them what they need to know in order to be more present for their child or help them with food, and, all the different things
And
that they need.
sometimes, again, it depends on where they are as far as where they live. If those resources aren't available, what can I do?
Right, right.
Because it's an immediate need. What can I do? How can I help immediately until these resources, if they're available, until they begin? Because if not, they're losing more time.
Right.
So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, find out more, how can they do it?
Sure. Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms, Vessels of Hope, or you can find me under Dr. Tracy Johnson.
Now it says Vessels of Hope, vessels at gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my email.
That's your email. Okay, great. It's just beautiful too. Wonderful speaker, beautiful, so bright. Thank you.
Well, thank you both for having
It's
me.
great to
It was
have
great.
you
It was
again.
great to see you both again. Thank you. All right. Enjoy the rest of the
Take
conference.
care.
All right. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Well, that will get loud and talking.
Yeah, that's the noise gate on that center mic.